Good afternoon, everyone. This is Anne Marie. This is an update on the gold membership. Let's talk about that a little bit. I want to talk to you about what these pieces mean inside of the grid that you're going to get each time we set something out. All right? This is pretty simplistic type of trade. We know we're long calls here. The trigger, that's the one that sets up the conditional trade for the breach of a particular level. So in essence, what your system is going to do is as soon as it breaches that level, what it's going to do is trigger a buy of the February monthly 65 calls at market price at the point that it breaches this level. The current option price was 90 cents, but when we put the order together, but at time of execution down here, it was 121. All right, so that's going to sort of happen. Now, what you have to average out is how much that might cost. So if you normally have $500 a trade and it's about 90 cents, you're not going to set out to buy 5 of them because you know the price is going to be higher. So you might end up just buying 4, and 4 will give you underneath the 500 lot, or right at the 500 lot that you're looking at. Okay, because trade size here of 5 gives us a $605 exposure. All right, so this one actually did trigger. This one looks very, very nice. We're going to show it to you in just a few moments. The next thing is initial hard stop. What does that mean? That means that when you put on the trade, there's a place that is a hard stop. Okay, and that hard stop is you're going to get out of the trade if the price falls to 61.89, where it is, at whatever price that the option is trailing for at that time. Okay, that's where it is. Now, the trailing stop size is a nickel. For the most part, a nickel works very, very well for this type of trade. Remember, this gold membership works for you if you allow it to work on its own and you let these trailing stops do their thing. What it does, inevitably, is that if the position is going to run, this trailing stop is going to be absolutely fabulous because you're going to be able to catch it at the tops of these wicks, which you might not be able to do mentally just staring at the stock, right? So what happens is this team, this gold membership team, is excellent at picking out stocks that will run once they break. And so this trailing stop size looks at that element to happen. So when we look at this and we go, oh, you know, it's only a 1.1 to 4, that's not really, that's the minimal that we're looking at, but these stocks have a tendency to run in the direction that they break, and so that's going to be a key element for why you want to leave it on and just let it do its thing. The trailing stop trigger price is 66.38 for Joy. Okay, what that means is you do not have a stop at the end or the top of your run until it gets to the 80% range of the move that we are expecting. And then this trailing stop takes over and this hard stop goes away. That's what the conditional order of one cancels the other out. So the second that kicks in, this goes away and you start running up into the new levels. Okay, the target of 66.93, certainly that's an area that maybe you want to think about taking the position off if it hasn't gotten there, but many, many times it will accelerate well past it and the trailing stop will take you out. What's my advice? My advice is once it gets to the target, don't touch it. Just let it run and do its thing. All right? If you have a much larger account and you would like to preserve some profits, then you take part of it off. All right, follow-up target is something that we'll put there if it looks like it continues to run, and that usually is based on something that I might suggest, but that's what that's going to be there for. The date suggested is the day that we put it out. The day executed is the day that the trade triggers. The price of the option at execution, I talked to you about that, and trade size, total exposure is going to be everything at risk in the market. All right? So this adjusted stop here means that initially the hard stop was at 2147. It has not gotten into the trailing stop event yet, but it's a space where it's basing enough that we can move it up so that we don't have as much exposure to loss. All right? And once in a while we will give you those to take a look at. Look at them every day. They get adjusted before the market opens. Once you get working the conditional order, it only takes you about 5-6 minutes per order at the most. And so so you'll be able to get these all in plenty of time before you head off to work, before the market opens, whatever. All right, so that's that. Now let's just take a look quickly at what it is that we are looking at. We've got Joy, right? And Joy is doing well. It's holding its levels nicely. Joy has a lot of potential. Excuse me, this is Juniper. Juniper has a lot of potential acceleration associated with it. It's holding that monthly VWAP, and so it looks just fine, right? So the reason that we're moving that stop up a little bit is because we have a new base. And that's what the team does at night. They look at it and they say, all right, are we setting up with a new base that can help the position accelerate to the north a lot faster? All right, let's go to Joy. Joy has a lot of upside momentum, a lot of great potential. Those of you that use Fibonacci patterns, you can draw a fib right here from this wave, X to A right there, and you can see that there's going to be a nice bit of room. This is one of the ones that can accelerate very, very quickly and move to the upside. There is a little bit of problem potentially here with this gap action. Overall, chart looks tremendously good. Everything looks like it's got pressure building to the upside. The stock is looking very, very nice. That position is probably going to remain unchanged. We may have an adjusted stop, but we'll review that late tonight as a team. The gold membership. We'll do that tonight, the leaders of the gold membership. All right, so now this is F. F has not triggered yet. Okay, F wants, we need the breach up above these levels, and that's what we're waiting for. But again, everything looks very, very nice. It's holding a base, bouncing from the bottom. These are things that we're looking for all the time. And so this position is still primed to move. There are a lot of people talking very, very highly about Ford. And so that is something that still looks nice and neat. Johnson & Johnson, also something that looks like it's accelerating nicely. It did flatten out a little like all of these guys do, but it's holding the weekly VWAP and certainly holding the pivot. That's very, very important. What are we seeing? Again, Johnson & Johnson looks like it's going to hold very, very nicely. We're going to watch for it to get up over these levels. A little bit of weakness, but still holding the levels. And remember, when you're in the long, you stay in the long as it holds support. That's all there is to it, right? If they're fighting on the top, who cares? Just so long as they're not fighting on the bottom and holding that base. So that looks good. Walmart, also something that triggered on the spike, Friday's opening. So it triggered on the spike, but again, look at how pretty this formation is. Everything's moving nicer, getting higher lows. This by and large, and really by far, is looking like the one that's got the best price action sitting. Here's something very beautiful about why this trade is going to move very, very nicely in my mind. We take a look at the price level event. It's in the gap, right? So once it's in the gap, we know that there is definitive opportunity for us to slip right on through it. And so still very pleased about the upside momentum that's associated with this one, and a lot of good pricing action there. All right, so that's what we have so far. About twice a week you'll get a video like this, Sunday, maybe Thursday, something like that, that'll give you a recap of everything that we're sitting in, let you take a look at the charts, and hear about where the stocks are potentially going, anything we have to look for. All right. Thanks so much, and see you all tomorrow.